Well, speaking of NC State, it was and just college football in general, the ACC announced today kickoff times for the first 3 weeks of the season, or most of the kickoff times. There's still a few things to be determined. For example, week 3, NC State VMI to be determined. It's a home game for NC State. So again, you got to figure out what networks these things are going on, things along those lines. But a lot of people were anticipating the kickoff time for the home opener for NC State on September 9th, week 2 of the season. All right, Notre Dame, it's coming to town. Are we looking at a primetime 8 o'clock game, ABC? Are we looking for a 3:30 kickoff, noon? It is a noon kickoff on ABC. So NC State, early in the season, you should be 1-0. You should beat UConn. You should be 1-0 going into that game. This is the true early season test to show, all right, is this team for this upcoming season for real? Or are you going to be a 10-2, 11-1 type team? Are you? I don't know. Got a new offensive coordinator. You lost a lot of personnel from last year. You had 30-plus seniors on your senior day last season. So a lot of turnover in that regard. But you get the primetime slot, national coverage, ESPN. Week 1 of the season, Luis Fernandez, Carolina in the Dukes Mayo Classic in Charlotte against South Carolina, an ABC primetime game, 7:30 kickoff. So the state of North Carolina, 2 of your biggest schools. And this also, that first week of the season, that Monday, actually, it's a Monday Night Football game. Duke at home against Clemson on ESPN. That's an 8 o'clock primetime game.
At home.
At home. So here in the Triangle, the 3 schools here in the Triangle are getting prime viewing slots on Prime networks
to
big. Start off the college football season. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And I think this is an opportunity for us as fans of these teams and these schools that we get to go out there and experience all these. And also week 2, App State is also coming in to Chapel Hill to take on UNC at Keenan.
At 5:15?
At 5:15. That's an ACC network game, but noon kickoff between Notre Dame and NC State. But then we also get App State and UNC at home as well. Like, this is prime stuff that's taking place here. And it's, to me, I'm excited looking ahead to this. I know it's months away, but I'm excited looking forward to these things.
Well, and it's yes, it is almost June, right? So college football is kind of all got to put it in perspective a little bit, but they're all 3 of the, NC State, UNC, Duke, all those major programs are trending upward, I feel like, when you look at what they are and what they have been. UNC obviously is going to have a lot of Heisman hype behind Drake May. It'll be really interesting to see. Duke, Mike Elko, what he was able to do there with the Blue Devils last year. They're also going to be a team that I think is going to be, in the upper half of, I was about to say in the Coastal, but the Coastal doesn't exist.
No
RIP. Oh my gosh.
They are in the upper half.
They're going to be in the upper half of the conference. Clemson will probably win that game, but I think it's one that could be interesting and kind of could put a bit of a national spotlight on Duke's football program and what they've been able to do. NC State, a lot of questions like you were just kind of mentioning, but still they've shown that they are one of these teams that is going to be consistently competing in the ACC. So all programs I think are in a really good space, and it's deserved that they get some of these national spotlight kind of games and spots. I think it's all worth it. They've earned these opportunities for sure.
And I know we'll go through each of the schools here in just a second, but specifically we'll start off with State, because again, the anticipated game the first 3 weeks of the season at home was Notre Dame coming back into Carter Finley Stadium, because it's been a while. We also saw Notre Dame play at Keenan last year, so they've been here in the Triangle, but not at Carter Finley. They opened the season on the road on a Thursday at UConn.
TBA on that one.
Got to beat UConn. My guess is probably going to be an 8 o'clock game. Now, you get the Notre Dame game, then you follow with VMI. If you're going in 3-0 after your first 3 weeks of the season with the win over Notre Dame, that's when you start as a program, as the season progresses, you start getting more primetime slots because you have a big notable win early in the season against Notre Dame. Same thing with UNC. Primetime, you have opening the season against South Carolina. Then you have App, which is not going to be an easy game, as we know, for Carolina. But you get App, and then you get a Big Ten school coming in Minnesota. That's a 3:30 kickoff on ESPN or ESPN2, week 3. If you go 3-0 through that stretch, having beaten an SEC school and a Big Ten school, Drake May, Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
That conversation starts to skyrocket. Well, guess what? Carolina gets more national attention along with NC State if these first 3 weeks of the season really do play out. So these first 3 weeks really matter. If you want to have those primetime slot games as the season progresses and get more national attention, you got to take care of business early in the year.
I mean, if Duke comes in there and gives Clemson a bit of a scare in that first game, if not, do more, that's going to be huge for the Blue Devils. One thing you have to remember too, Sam Hartman is now at Notre Dame. So they're going to be unless they lose that first week that they play, Notre Dame's going to be a top 10 team. Would be my imagining. They were a lot of the way too early things I saw were kind of had them top 15 before Sam Hartman signed on. So, it just, to me, there are going to be a lot of opportunities for these programs to cement themselves. Now, these programs have in the past had lofty expectations, and not much has come from them. So it's going to be one of those kind of wait and see approaches, but the way these schedules set up for UNC, NC State, and Duke is to put them in a position to have some national recognition after the end of the first couple of weeks, should they take advantage of that. Will they? We'll see. But it's there. The opportunity is present.
It's 100% there. I know a lot of people schedule ahead in terms of how they plan their weekends coming out in the fall based on the game times of these games. Well, now you know. I'm excited. It should be a fun time looking ahead. I plan on being at Carter Finley Stadium for that game. I plan on later that afternoon going to Keenan, to go watch UNC versus App. That's a big-time in-state matchup.
And for folks from the NC State side who may be thinking, hey, why is Notre Dame and NC State at noon on that week? You go and look at the other primetime games that are happening. You mentioned ACC Network. UNC and App State are playing at 5:15. The 7 p.m. ESPN game that week, Texas at Alabama. So
yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
That'll do it. The ABC one, 7:30 that week though. Wisconsin at Washington State.
Yeah, I don't care.
So yeah, that's a little bit interesting. But Auburn at Cal, the Pac-12 after dark game that week. So I don't know. It's going to be one of those. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I understand the frustration with noon kickoffs, but I think when done appropriately, they're a lot of fun.